So with the latest Fantastic Four trailer that came out, it got me in the mood to go back and watch some older Fantastic Four cartoons. And for me, that was the 90s stuff. And yeah, it's still a lot of fun. I mean, yes, the first half, little less of the show doesn't have great animation. It has much more of a comic book feel to it. And I usually love that, and I do enjoy it. But when you compare it to what comes after, it's like, oh my gosh, the second half or second chunk is just so much better with the animation. I think the stories are better, the characters are better because they really emphasize, I think, more the family dynamic with Johnny and Sue. You know, you have many times where Sue will pick on Johnny and mention about things about, you're my younger brother, you know, you're doing this, you're being stupid. Johnny will be like, stop babying me, you know, come on, big sis, why do you treat me this way? And then you have, you know, Reed and Sue and their marriage and how husband and wife acts, you know. There's more of Reed wanting to try to focus more on science and Sue trying to pull him away, you know, to do everyday things. And the dynamic between Ben and Johnny, their friendship, but the banter and the shenanigans they get into, and you know, just Ben and Aisha, which we don't see her as much in the second half as we do in the first, and just Johnny's love stories that happen. But I just think overall that part is better. I mean, the animation definitely stands out. It's really on par, especially with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, and yeah, even with the X-Men as well. But you know, those first couple episodes, they do a real good job of telling comic book stories. But then later on, they take these stories and they change them up. They keep the essence of it, but they make them their own. And I really like that. My biggest gripe with it is that they keep going back to the same villains. Now, of course, Doctor Doom makes sense because he is the main villain for the FF. But they do so many Skrulls and Super Skrull, and I don't know how many times Galactus shows up, and they do two stories where Doom steals the Surfer's power. And it's like, why didn't you do others? You have one episode with Mole Man where you could have and you should have done more. There's just so many other characters they could have done. I mean, they could have done so much with the Negative Zone. But overall, I still think this is a great show. It's a great version of the FF. It builds on what was established years ago in the comics. Like I said, it makes it their own. I think it's better in the second part, but it's definitely a show that if you haven't checked it out or you haven't revisited it in a while, I highly recommend you do because the FF is coming and this is a lot of fun.